I mean, I want to work for free.
No, you don't. I know for a fact you don't want to work for free because I have to pay you a lot of money just to talk to me.
Welcome to the Up and Away podcast, sponsored by Commerce Hero.
Commerce Hero Daily number 26.
What is up? I am finally here on video. You got me.
Got you on video, assuming that this works out and they're able to do the editing and whatnot.
We'll see. We shall see.
We got some decent feedback on the last video episode, so I thought we might just go nuts and keep doing it. By the way, shout out to Nucleus. If you're looking at my T-shirt, Nucleus Commerce is still my favorite shirt.
Right. And by the way, I can't see your screen, so I'm looking straight into a camera of blank abyss.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Can you see? I mean, you can't see me either.
I can't see you either.
You act as if you're looking down upon me, and I'm just in the dark.
I can't see you either, but I can feel your vibes.
Good.
I can feel your vibes.
I mean, there they are. Hey, dude, I think we should introduce the technical setup here because this was a little while to get going this morning.
This is a little while to get going. Okay, so I've got a little tripod situation. I'm using my Pixel smartphone and my Apple earbuds, and we're actually doing a phone call while recording video separately. If you had any idea how many different configurations we've tried out, you would appreciate.
Well, and let's talk about the motivation behind that. The motivation is because you want to live this mobilized lifestyle where you insist on doing everything on the phone.
I'm insisting on doing it over the phone. So I got a mic, which I got a Rode SmartLav mic, which I'm not using because I need a better splitter in order to listen to headphones at the same time. Very complicated.
We're still figuring out the setup, but this is in the progress.
Exactly. I'm refusing to do anything on desktop, so it's been fun.
I know.
What are we talking about?
And for me, I just hit the record button, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
You might need to come back to the desktop lifestyle.
Okay, I'll consider it. Okay, so today what we're talking about is Don't Work for Free. Show title.
Well, who wants to work for free anyways?
You know, it happens. It happens more than you would suspect.
It does, and I understand that, Kaylin. I'm just trying to start a conversation here.
Well, I appreciate that, but you did a very bad job of starting the conversation.
I mean, I want to work for free.
No, you don't. I know for a fact you don't want to work for free because I have to pay you a lot of money just to talk to me.
That's fair.
So you're like, that's fair. That's fair. No, I mean, this is something that comes up from time to time. I had a recent situation where a contractor through Commerce Hero, offered to do some work for free. And so, every once in a while, like that's not the way I like to do things, but every once in a while I'll be like, okay, fine, whatever, see how it works out. And it did not work out well. So that's what triggered this
what happened?
Episode. Well, I can't get into too much detail, but It was basically like, hey, we'll figure out how much I'm going to pay you after the project is done.
Okay.
And which in theory, sounded great. Everybody started out with the best of intentions, but then it just went south.
And what was the reason why they wanted to go for free?
I don't know exactly. I think that I don't know. I think that probably the person just wanted to, keep it simple. Like, hey, let's not worry about money. We're all friends here, or whatever.
Well, they want. I imagine they wanted to earn the trust.
Yeah, they want to earn some trust. There's a lot of different categories of working for free that you can talk about. Like this was like, hey, I'm going to do a whole project for you, and we'll figure out the price afterwards. There's also things like doing an initial trial project or a test project for somebody, which can last anywhere from 30 minutes. Test project. I think we did a whole episode on test projects, didn't we?
It's possible.
I can't remember.
Could have been several days ago.
All the way up to hours and hours of time doing a test project. So those are different sort of categories of working for free. So yeah, I mean, I think that, if you're good at what you do, now look, I mean, if you are just starting off in your career, like, hey, it might make sense to get an internship, work completely for free. If you're just starting out and trying to get experience, so that's fine. I'm more in the context of our audience for Commerce Hero are like mid to senior level developers or other types of professionals. So within that context, I think you should never be working for free.
Because
if you're good at what you do, then you should get paid for your time.
Sure.
Simple as that.
But what if you're not good at what you do, or you haven't been proven yet?
If you're not good at what you do, then peace. Ain't got time for that.
Yeah, ain't got time for Commerce Hero, buddy.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're just learning, that's awesome. I mean, hey, like, that's a great way to learn. And that's awesome. It's a different engagement. I think there should be clear lines between, hey, I'm learning something. I'm an intern, versus like, hey, I'm a professional with specific specialization in what you need to get done. And it's interesting. I was reading something about internships, and I think there's this whole separate topic, which we're not going to get into, of minimum wage. And I think that, like, part of the, like, it's funny how there's a minimum wage, but in internship, you're working completely for free. And in some countries, like in Canada, it's not common to have an internship where you work for free. It's more common that you have an internship where you get paid like a certain stipend or something like that. But anyways, so I could go off on that. But so I think part of the reason we have free internships is because there is a minimum wage. You can't say, oh, it's a job and you're getting paid less than minimum wage. You have to say it's an internship. You're not getting paid at all. And that somehow makes it okay. I don't quite understand that.
Wow.
But I digress.
Sure.
Digress.
And the topic at hand is actually working for free.
That is the topic at hand. That is the topic at hand today.
So what else did you want to say about that, Cam?
I think I pretty much covered it. There's a bunch of different categories. Again, I put out some tweets a few weeks ago, and some people responded to it. Like we're talked about on the low end of things, you could have somebody just starting out, intern, junior developer. But on the high end of things, I've had people say, hey, look, even as a premium agency, an expensive agency, like, we might do, quote, free work for a certain period of time. Like, we might do, during discovery on a project, like, we might do a little bit of coding here and there for something. At the end of the day, it's just about, like, supply and demand. Like, if you want the client that much, you'll put in a little extra work. And so, I mean, it could work. I don't know. For me personally, I'm curious what you think. I mean, in the context you've worked in of hiring people for marketing related stuff or whatever. I don't know if you have any thoughts, but that's
well, yeah, I mean, like, it's very kind of, it's one or the other. It's the internship or a salaried or hourly position. I'm not really, like, I don't think I've ever worked with somebody who wanted to offer marketing services for free, because I just didn't have time to waste with that. You know what I mean? Like,
totally. If
I couldn't just take a look at their portfolio or take a look at what they've done in the past, or even had an interview with them and been able to assess their value, I just wouldn't spend my time with them. The difference, though, is that they say, hey, look, maybe they came to me and said, hey, look, I just made this thing for you. What do you think? And then I go, oh, that's good stuff. And then I go ahead and say, let's just start working together now. I wouldn't pay them for I wouldn't ask somebody to do pro bono work for me. Then again, you might be, what if you're one of these, like, I don't know, like, just, let's say you're a big company or something and someone wants to kind of audition for you and just starts doing a bunch of work and kind of just puts it in front of you and says, hey, like, what do you think of this? Can you hire me? I think I could see that happening a lot more to someone of your stature, Kanan. Someone who just says, yo, I want to be part of the Commerce Hero family.
I agree. If somebody just on there, and I actually recommended somebody to do exactly that recently. It's one thing if you on your own say, hey, I'm going to do something and show it to this person. It's it's something else if you're talking to the person and the person like agrees to let you work for free. Like there's something in that dynamic that's just kind of weird. But I recommended to somebody recently, they were learning to do like Magento theming, and I was like, hey, like you got to learn how to do the theming anyways, and why not like just go pick a site, like find a site, you know, maybe they're a site that is owned by somebody local to you, or the agency that worked on it is local to you, whatever, and just
Sure.
do a redesign of the site. Like just do that as practice for yourself. You hit two birds with one stone. You get to practice doing the theming, and then when you're done with it, you send it to them. You go, hey, look, I just did a redesign of your site. Like, what do you think? I think that'd be a really smart way to approach it. But to me, it's totally different if you were to contact them and say, hey, do you want me to do a free theme for you? And then they're like, yeah, go for it. Like,
Yes.
I don't know.
I was going to say that next.
Different, right?
If someone were to say, hey, can we set up a relationship where let me just write some blog posts for you, for example. Let's just say they wanted to be they wanted to post on my blog. And they said, let me write it for you. And then later you can tell me how much it's worth to you or something like that.
Which is exactly what happened in
I think that's weird.
That's a no-no.
Yeah, it's just like how much do you want? How much would you pay me for this? Or this is what I've done in the past. If they've never done it before, I'm like, if they've never written a blog post before, or even written a blog post in the niche that I'm in, then I wouldn't even waste my time with it. It's
Right.
like, okay, you need to go learn the ropes. Show me that you're good. Show me what you've done, and then let me just hire you because this is what I pay per hour,
Right.
or this is what I'd pay for a salary position.
Now, that's an interesting example because I recently had somebody reach out to me that does blog posts, and they did offer a free trial, like a free initial free post. Although I don't know if it was a free blog post or it was a pay us after we complete the post.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with you in that scenario, but I do think there's also a different category if there's a company that provides a service and you get an initial taste for free, like a free trial type deal.
Sure. Well, so
I feel like
a company
maybe
that's
that's
trying to earn your business with a free trial.
Mm-hmm.
So give me more of an
Versus like
example, though. It actually came to article writing, like they were going to do articles.
Yeah.
For free?
Yeah, it was a company that does content, writing, and they told me what their pricing was for articles and things like that. And they said, "Hey, you can do your first article for free as a trial."
Why do you think that's different from someone like an individual coming to you and saying, "Hey, why don't you just start me on like start a Stripe subscription with a free trial built in, and then you can cancel if you don't like the first week's work."
Do you think it's different? Because you had a strong opinion on the first.
Well, in principle, it sounds exact. I mean, it's exactly the same.
It's exactly
the
the same.
difference is that it's an individual and a company, and then I guess you don't feel
Right.
so bad saying no to a company, but you might feel bad putting like an individual who's just trying to,
Yeah.
you imagine that they're kind of just trying to scrape by or earn a living kind of thing. But maybe they're not. Maybe they're just a really good quality. They do very well, and that's how they start their client relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what if it was that?
Yeah. So now I've
Yeah.
boxed myself into a corner, and I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, I honestly I don't know how I would feel about that either. I'm just saying in my experience, though, I've always found that people who don't work for free are generally the better ones. People who value themselves higher, or at least understand their own value that they bring to the market, they are generally, that equates to their actual true value.
And the interesting thing with this particular scenario with the content writing person, I ended up not going with them because I was looking for something that was a little bit higher quality. Not just the free thing they offered, but just the pricing as well. Like the price per blog post just seemed too low.
Right.
So I was looking for something a little higher end.
Yeah.
So in the end, that did sort of turn into a signal that made me feel like the quality wasn't there. And I feel like if there was a super high end writer like that charged $1,000 for article, like I just can't imagine them giving you a free one.
Sure.
Although if you were a huge client and they were expecting you to spend $10,000 a month with them writing, maybe they would give you the $1,000 thing for free. On some level, it's sort of all relative. So
you're trying to say that none of this is
myself. I think it is all relative, because it's one thing if the individual contractor offers it for free and really they sort of can't afford to offer it for free, I think is what it comes down to. that's where I think it's not a great scenario.
Sure.
If they can afford to, then it's fine.
Yeah, and
Which-
sometimes it's just sometimes it's hard to tell what situation or where they're coming from. I think we've talked about before how we were talking about I think hiring something for the house or a repair guy or painter or that kind of thing. And if they were to charge lower on the spectrum of what you would expect for the job done, you start to get a little worried. Like why are they so low? Like why are they the cheapest? Does that speak to the quality of work?
Totes. On that note,
Yeah.
hope you guys enjoyed it. See you in the next episode.